Assalamu alaikum, happy Eid, and welcome to Huda TV's continued, comprehensive, extended, and live coverage of Hajj 1433. That is, of course, 2012. If you can see behind me, my dear viewers, you can see we're live in Mina, tent cities, and millions of pilgrims are here just wrapping up their Hajj. According to the KSA government, which released figures in the Saudi Gazette, approximately 3.2 million people descended on this blessed city at this blessed time to perform their Hajj, but it certainly feels like a lot more than that. Joining me for tonight's discussion are two very, very special guests. Of course, our eminent and respected Sheikh, the host of Ask Huda, and of course, Correct Your Recitation, Dr. Muhammad Salah, and also another very, very special guest, all the way from Texas, our beloved Sheikh, Yusuf Estes. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, dear respected scholars. Thank you guys for being here with us today. You know, Sheikh Yusuf, it's very rare when you find somebody who their last name rhymes with the place where they come from. So Estes, Texas, Estes. For me, it's Evangelatos, California. It doesn't really work that well. Well, in all seriousness, thank you for joining me. Sheikh Yusuf, I want you, if you can, share with the viewers a little bit about your first Hajj and how it felt.
In 1993, Malik, when my wife and I first came here, it was so crude. It reminded me a lot of when I was a Boy Scout leader and used to take the boys out into the wilderness. It literally was a desert wilderness at that time, and everything was just as simple as you could imagine it. Of course, in many ways, it helps you to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the reason you're here, to be forgiven, to make your dua. At the same time, there's that option that you can be so involved in your environment that you forgot why you came here to start with. Right. Just one example, and then I'll give it back to you, but I want to mention about Muzdalifah.
Go ahead.
When you're finished with your Arafat, the main part of Hajj, you leave. You don't make your salah when the sun goes down, right? And then you get in the bus or walk, whatever. But we got in the bus and we rode to Muzdalifah. And when we were there, it was dark. There were no lights.
SubhanAllah.
There were no bathrooms. There was nothing there. And when I got out, I said, where's the place? I'm thinking a city called Muzdalifah. You know, where's the hotel, gas station, convenience store? I get a sandwich, something. They said, you're here. This is Muzdalifah. I said, where is it? They said, this is it. I said, well, at least where's the bathroom? They said, everywhere.
SubhanAllah. It's open desert at that time. That's very funny.
I said, the bathroom is everywhere? They said, yeah. Be careful where you walk.
Dr. Muhammad, of course, you have a lot of experience here. Can you share with the viewers one special personal moment that has stuck in your mind throughout all these years that you've been performing Hajj?
There are many. For instance, one moment that I cannot forget. In the Haram once, I saw, I believe she was a Pakistani woman. And I wanted to advise her to cover up a part of her hair and so on. So as I approached her, she was so involved in dua and crying. So I couldn't control myself. I joined her crying as well. So I was going to give her da'wah. She ended up giving me da'wah without saying a word.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful experience.
Seeing people communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their different languages and mother tongue really establishes the fact that this is really a great ummah. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة. This is your ummah, one united ummah. Despite the fact it comes from diverse background. وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ. In one ayah says فَاتَّقُونَ, then another ayah says فَعْبُدُونَ. One ummah with diverse background. This is a universal religion, and our Lord is one. So keep your duty to me, worship me alone.
SubhanAllah. Sheikh Yusuf, for those people at home who have not performed Hajj, can you explain to them how the day of Arafat feels and the environment and the feeling, the emotions that the pilgrims are going through on that wonderful day?
Well, first I would like to address non-Muslims about the importance of this, because they might think, well, you guys are worshiping a black box in the desert and then you're walking out in a valley somewhere and you're getting sunstroke for what?
Right.
And I would like to assure them of something, that this is the religion of Abraham, Moses, David, and Suleiman. This is the religion of Adam. It's the religion of Jesus Christ. It's the religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of them, without exception, understood the value of worshiping one God without partners, and all of them, without exception, went through some of the trials and tribulations that we experience here. Now for the Muslims, I will tell the Muslim, if he's mature, if he's of age, or she's of age, then they need to know this is not an option. This is not something you do when you get old. This is something that is due on you as soon as you are mature and you have the funding and the safe way to go. It is obligation. It's wajib. It is not an option.
Do you think there's a trend, Sheikh Yusuf, of people delaying their Hajj?
Oh, I know that. I mean, that's not a think thing. It's for sure, especially in some countries that I visited. But I won't zero in on any particular one. But you see them, they'll come out here in big groups, and all of them white hair and so on.
Right.
And I asked them, they said, well, it's hard for us to get the visa. Okay, that's an excuse. But they should be trying every year to get that visa.
Excellent point. That's an excellent point. Dr. Muhammad, having said that, I mean, many people, they save money to travel perhaps to spend a couple of weeks in Hawaii or the Greek islands. What can you say to those people who would like to travel overseas and visit, beaches and tourist locations who haven't performed Hajj yet?
A couple of things. Number one, you don't know what you're missing. Number two, you have not been invited yet, because attendance here is only by invitation. So it really has nothing to do with being physically and financially capable. In a sense that, yes, indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنْ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. Hajj is a mandatory duty upon those who can afford the means and they're physically fit. But many people who possesses these two qualities, the physical ability and the financial means, are not interested. I say because they are not invited. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invites somebody, last year there was a sheikh, an ordinary person who recites the Quran beautifully, and he's blind. So he appeared on the screen. He appeared once with me on correct recitation. Then we got a call from somebody whom I don't know, I haven't met till this moment, and said, did the sheikh perform Hajj before? Because amongst his wishes, he said, I love to perform Hajj, but he's so broke, he cannot afford to travel anywhere.
Right.
So I said, no. He said, I would like to sponsor his Hajj.
SubhanAllah.
So I was so delighted and I was so happy. He said, sure, of course. Then I shared the good news with the person who was participating with us in the program. He said, but I have a problem because I'm blind, I cannot travel by myself. So what's needed is at least an escort. His wife will be the person to join him. So I talked to the sponsor, whom I don't know. I haven't met him till this moment. He said, find out how much would it cost. So we found out and he said, I'll be more than happy to sponsor them both to go for Hajj. So we got the fund and we called several travel agencies and we tried our best and they promised us, but it didn't work out. This year, I called the guy again and said, are you still interested in sponsoring these people? Why? I wanted to get a similar reward, so I took the initiative. He said, I would love to.
SubhanAllah.
Okay, so we called some travel agencies and I hooked them together, and alhamdulillah wa shukrullah, it did work out.
SubhanAllah, that's a wonderful story.
So this is a poor person and he's blind. He's not obliged to perform Hajj and he's broke, right? Yeah. He doesn't have the means of transportation from Cairo to Alexandria. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invited him and his name is in the list, so you've got to come.
SubhanAllah. Sheikh Yusuf, we see people, some people, I have a friend, for example, who has performed Hajj by the grace of Allah 11 times, and he still has a burning desire to come to Hajj every year. How can we explain this phenomenon in the hearts of the Muslims?
Well, there's two things on this subject now, Malik. One is, why is he doing it? Because if you say he just has a love for this, and he feels good when he does it, this is one subject. And even then, we'd have to talk to him and caution him about something. But on the other hand, if he thinks that he didn't succeed, because see, the reason you're here is to be forgiven by Allah, nothing else. This is what the Prophet ﷺ told us, that the reason behind Hajj is to be forgiven. It's nothing less than Jannah. Why? Because you're going to be forgiven for everything. So if the person didn't think that he'd been forgiven, this is a big problem. But to the other person, the one who just keeps coming and coming, I would like to advise him, brother, realize that there are 3 million people out here, and many of them never performed it. They need to try to do it. And many of the brothers, not only do they come and do Hajj, they want to do 2 or 3 or 4 Umrahs. And that crowds up the efforts of everybody else. I don't think it's really right. Now, some shuyukh, they have to come because somebody has to be here to direct and help and guide and so on. This is why we get invited to come. But if it weren't for that, then he and I shouldn't even come back.
I see your point.
It's not right. But let's go back now to the one who thinks Allah didn't forgive him. And I was mentioning in a program tonight that the Prophet ﷺ said the worst person is the one who did Hajj and he didn't think Allah forgave him.
Subhanallah, that's amazing. Amazing. So we can link Arafat Day especially to this concept of salvation, because the people are standing on the mountain of Arafat begging Allah just for salvation, to forgive their sins. I'd like to make a quick public service announcement, you guys. This is live, so please give us a call if you'd like to talk with Sheikh Yusuf or Dr. Muhammad Salah. The number should appear on the bottom of your screen. And also, we have a brand new program titled Memories of the Haramain, which features Sheikh Yusuf Esses, Dr. Muhammad Salah, and many, many more Muslim personalities, which is a wonderful program put together by Brother Muhammad Tayal. Check our Facebook page, www.huda.tv/facebook.com, to get the airing time. My dear respected Shaykh, Memories of the Haramain, you guys recorded that program. We're going to air it soon. It was a wonderful program where you guys spoke about reflections on the Haramain, so I just wanted to remind the viewers about that.
I haven't seen it yet, though.
Inshallah, we'll air soon, inshallah. Sheikh Yusuf, can you speak to us a little bit about your reflections about the first time you visited the Prophet's grave, peace be upon him, in Medina?
I want to tell you something strange. The first time my wife and I went in '93, I purposely did not go to Medina.
Okay.
I purposely did not go to Medina. And there was a reason for that, because many Muslims in our masjid, in our area, in many places, had thought that if you didn't visit Medina, if you didn't go to the Prophet's grave, then you didn't have Hajj. And I knew that from our sheikh, our teacher. So what I did, I told my wife, let's you and me not go. She said, oh, I'd like to go. I said, even though, let's don't go, because we want to make a point to everybody.
Right.
So when we came back and we had not visited Medina, we didn't go to the Baqi, the graveyard there. Is that how you pronounce it?
Al-Baqiyah.
Al-Baqiyah. We didn't go to any of that. So what happened is that the people said to me, oh, you don't have Hajj? And you don't have Hajj? I said, why? Because you didn't go to Medina. And we said, no, wait a minute, guys. Look it up and see. This is a sunnah to go. And it's a wonderful thing. You get extra reward with Allah. You're going to be rewarded. It's going to be a great... But it isn't mandatory for your Hajj.
Okay.
It's not like stoning the Jamarat.
Yeah, right.
It's not like doing Tawaf and Sa'i.
Yeah.
It's not like standing on Arafat. It is not the same, and that's why we purposely didn't do it. But then what happened? I was so sad I didn't go, because I felt like I distanced myself from Rasul Sallallahu, and it bugged me so bad that when I finally got to come again on behalf of my father to do that for him, he passed away, rahimahullah, without doing it. So when I came the next time, I said, I want to go to Medina first. So we went to Medina first.
Thank you so much.
And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful thing.
Let me just take this quick phone call. Brother Rida from the KSA, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Go ahead.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. نعم أخي, I can hear you.
Thank you so much for calling, brother. Go right ahead, please.
جزاكم الله شكرا جزيلا. يعني wish you all Eid Mubarak, and may Allah bless all Muslims of the world to make this trip at least once in their lifetime.
I mean, thank you so much for your kind words. May Allah accept your Hajj as well. Thank you so much.
I've got a quick question for Maulana there in the studio. If you can, please help me answer it.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I've got involved in purchasing a house in South Africa. It's not really so easy to find Islamic banks to finance such purchases. However, a few years ago, my wife and I, we managed to buy this house through a commercial bank. We are still owning payments that we do every month.
Sure.
And by the looks of it, this will continue for another few years to come.
Sure,
we are really hoping and longing to go for Hajj. We can save on the sideline to go for Hajj maybe next year or so.
Sure.
Can we do that, or actually paying this bond off quicker takes priority over going for Hajj?
Okay, Brother Rida, I believe I got your question. I will certainly pass it along to our respective guests.
Shukran.
Thank you so much, Rida from South Africa. Well, Jazakum alaikum salam. I believe you heard his question, Dr. Muhammad, concerning, were you able to get a little bit? I believe he was talking about taking a loan from a commercial bank in order to perform Hajj. It's an ask-coulda type question for you.
You don't have to. You don't have to take a loan even from any person to perform Hajj, because al-istita'a is the condition of the eligibility and the requirement.
Okay.
Man istata'a ilayhi sabila. But if somebody has a decent job, has a steady income, and he knows that Sheikh Yusuf is a good friend of mine, and he's got some money,
right,
inshallah,
sure.
he's a very rich person. He doesn't mind giving me a loan whereupon I'll be able to pay the installment on time because of my job stability and so on,
Sure.
then that is permissible.
Okay.
But from a commercial bank, no.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed.
By the way, I wouldn't want it back anyway. I would love
Thank
to
you
just
so
give it
much.
to you.
Jazakallah khair.
Very sweet. We have Brother Hamza on the line from the KSA. I'm sorry, but I believe the line cut. Brother Hamza, please give us a call back as soon as you can, inshallah. Having said that, speaking about Medina, a lot of people were confused about that. They have connected this with Hajj. Excuse me, we have Brother Hamza on the line. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Hamza. Go ahead, brother. Thank you for calling back. Go ahead, brother. Thank you for calling.
I want to extend my salam to Sheikh Muhammad Salah
Go ahead.
and Sheikh Yusuf.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead, brother.
Please do Ameen. I'm here in Jeddah.
MashaAllah. Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Hamza. Thank you for your call, brother. I certainly appreciate it. I think people are just happy to call it.
I came from the Philippines, sir. I'm not Arabic. I'm Philippines.
Okay, thank you, Brother Hamza, for your call. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Dr. Muhammad.
Okay, and salam to you, sir.
Jazakallah khairan. Thanking Brother Hamza. Regarding visiting Medina, I think there was some confusion because there was some fabricated hadith where people had connected this to Hajj. Is that correct, Doctor?
Absolutely, and I think we discussed this yesterday. The fabricated hadith, I'm just going to quote it for the purpose of warning people against it.
Okay.
Man hajja wa lam yazurni faqad jafani. This is a fake hadith,
Okay.
which says that whoever performs Hajj and does not visit me, then he has deserted me or abandoned me. That is not true. In fact, as Sheikh Yusuf said, visiting the Medina and visiting the grave of the Prophet ﷺ is not a part of Hajj. Yet, I blame him for coming all the way from the USA, thousands and thousands of miles to perform Hajj and not having a chance to, I can't wait.
Yes.
I know I can't wait to stand before his grave, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I really could not resist my tears. It's a very special moment. If you ask me about another special moment, looking at the spot, by the way, the scholars say Mecca is the most sacred city on earth. But the spot in which Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is buried is the most sacred spot on earth.
SubhanAllah.
Because it contains the body of the dearest and the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rahmah lil alameen, mercy for everything that exists. So I just examined the whole seerah and biography of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, how much suffering he had to go through, everything in front of my eyes while I was standing before his grave, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I know that they will let you stand for a moment, but you cannot imagine. The feeling is undescribable. You cannot describe it. You cannot just resist your tears. You want to cry, you want to say, I want to see you. I want to see you even if I pay my life. And there's a hadith in this regard. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, those who love me the most, people will come after me. يَوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ, one of them would love to see me once, even if it will cost him the life of his entire family and all the wealth he possesses. If he would lose anything, his entire family, wife, children, and his wealth, just to lay his eyes on the face of the Prophet ﷺ once, he will do it. If he has this option, he will do it. He will not hesitate to do it. So that's why I say, it is prescribed to visit Al-Madinah simply because the Prophet ﷺ said, no one should assume a journey to travel to any masjid except one of the three masajid, as we all know. Masjid al-Haram here in Mecca, Al-Masjid al-Nabawi in the city of the Prophet ﷺ, and the farthest mosque in Jerusalem. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the opportunity to pray therein without having to obtain a visa from the Zionists, while it will become an absolutely free Muslim land.
Inshallah.
So going to the Masjid of the Prophet ﷺ is a great experience, of course, and visiting him and giving salam to the Prophet ﷺ, and then to Abu Bakr and Umar, going to the graveyard of the Shuhada of Uhud, to Maqabr al-Baqiyah, is quite an experience.
Yeah, this is touching. It can't be recreated anywhere. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Salah, for those comments. Sheikh Yusuf, if you could give one piece of advice for people at home that are dying and ready to perform Hajj, what would you do? And what's one, can you share with us the most profound lesson learned after performing Hajj?
One of the questions I want to ask you, Malik, when you said dying to perform Hajj, do you mean they just can't wait to do it? Or do you mean that somebody's literally dying and is thinking about last minute?
He will get you.
I mean, you know, the people that...
No, because I met a brother today in that building right over there, and he said, he just came up to us and he told us, make dua for my mother. I said, okay, you know, he said she died 2 days ago. That's Yawm al-Arafat.
Subhanallah.
She died on Arafat.
Subhanallah.
And what happened, she was dying. It was in really critical condition in UK, I think. What they did, him and his brother, they got all natural foods for her, medicines for her. They were taking care of her. When they got to the airport, there was confusion over the luggage. They didn't get their luggage. So she didn't get the medicine.
Oh my goodness.
And but she survived. She was somehow going on minute by minute by minute. They were thinking any minute. Then she was in so much pain and agony on Arafat. They were saying, oh Allah, let her go now, let her go, because she can't take it anymore. She is out of her mind, I guess. And then Allah took her life. And they were saying, make dua, Allah accept it. I said, you know, really? If she died on Arafat, my dua doesn't stack up much, but I made a lot of dua for her.
Thank you, Sheikh Yusuf. Let me just take this phone call and then return to you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Huda TV's coverage of Hajj. Go ahead. Go ahead, are you there? Alaikum salam, sister. Thank you very much for calling. Asiya from Oman, the Sultanate of Oman, that is. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Go ahead, sister.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, we're doing great, sister. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much to you as well, sister. Go ahead, sister. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Sister Asiya from Oman.
We got the message.
The line cut. We got the message.
I heard the beep.
Thank you so much for your time. Sheikh Yusuf, what about the most important lesson learned? Perhaps if you could just mention one thing, the most important thing learned from Hajj.
There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about the importance of this one particular thing, which is the advice we should give each other. Is about sabr. One of the biggest things that happens while you're trying to get, all you're trying to do is come out here and say, Allah forgive me, and go home. It sounds easy, but there's so much involved, and there's so many intricacies, there's so many depths of this and that, and things you're going through that you never planned on. There's no way you could foresee the things that are going to happen to you, because it's a test from Allah. And in those tests in life, we're supposed to remind each other what tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr. We're supposed to remind each other of the haqq la ilaha illallah. That's why we're here. And also to be in a state of perseverance, steadfastness, and patience, and encourage each other for the same thing. You see your brother going through it, come over, give him a hand, do what you can do, and say, brother, be patient. Don't lose your temper. We're losing our tempers out here. You got 3 million people. It's real easy if somebody says, and lose it. But you tell them, brother, take it easy. Take it easy.
Isn't it amazing, though, when you see somebody in a difficult situation, you give him a smile, and he can smile back. And speaking of that topic, Dr. Salah, what about forgiveness and mercy between people here? Because all year long, perhaps we criticize the faults in other people. Say someone makes a mistake and we criticize them. But here, you feel the forgiveness, the mercy, and the love between absolute strangers.
It's really amazing that the amount of questions that we get during Hajj, today, tomorrow, and until the day of departure, people will come to us and say, "Ya Sheikh, I raised my voice a little," or while I was waiting for this, I had to shout a little. Would that invalidate my Hajj? People who are back home, they're big shots. Right. They're used to shouting. They're used to ordering, and things have to be done at their order and command. Once they decide do it, then it's got to be done. Right. Now they're very humble. Yeah. They're very afraid that if they raise their voice, it may ruin their Hajj. They may lose its reward. They say, yeah, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. He specified the jidal, the argument. So they try to avoid all that. It's all about self-discipline. Yeah. Hajj is a melting pot. As we said before, it melts the rich and the poor. And this universal ummah in one melting pot. Everybody, Arab and non-Arab, everybody is chanting the same, labbaik, 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 Allahumma labbaik. Everybody is facing the same qibla. Everybody is doing the same activities. No one can assume that, well, because I'm coming from the US or because I'm a diplomat or whatever, I can be in the traffic. You can't. You're going to the same direction. You're going to spend the whole day in Arafah. And you've got to spend the whole night in Muzdalifah unless if you have a concession to leave past midnight. But no one is allowed to leave past midnight. So we have to live the experience, all of us. It would teach us self-discipline and self-restraint. Before you open your mouth, you think about it. Because this word may invalidate your Hajj. Or at least diminish the reward for your Hajj. So this experience over 1 or 2 weeks would really help the person to improve a lot and to behave, to adopt a new moral system. Because the Prophet ﷺ says, إنما الصبر بالتصبر إنما الحلم بالتحلم إنما العلم بالتعلم. Many psychologists adopt the theory that there are certain manners which are in the gene, like those who lose it easily and they have a very short temper. It's not up to them, it's in the gene. I say no, that is not true. You can always improve by training yourself to be sabr, to be halim.
SubhanAllah. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. We have a phone call. Brother Abdul Salam from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Abdul Salam. Go ahead, brother. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, Brother Abdul Salam. Alaikum salam, brother. Go ahead, brother. Thank you for calling.
Good evening.
Good evening to you as well, brother. Thank you so much, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. Here, it's so wonderful. I don't know, I feel so excited to speak with the Sheikh over there, Yusuf Esed and Sheikh Muhammad Salah.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Abdul Salam. Thank you for your call. We have another call from Syria. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Go ahead.
Syria, subhanallah.
Go ahead,
we prayed
sister.
a lot for you.
We did, yes.
Go ahead, sister.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Thank you so much for calling our show. Go right ahead, sister. Please go ahead. I can hear you.
Brother.
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for calling. Please go ahead.
Yes, brother. My name is Khadir, and I just want to say to all of you, may Allah accept your Hajj. And
thank you so much.
I came with my children from Australia. We've been last 17 years in Australia. We came for the sake of Allah. Now we are here for 4 years. I have a kid, Alib al-Ilm. I want you to make dua for us that Allah will protect us, inshallah, bismillah. Jazakallahu khair.
Well, Jazakum, sister, if you can stay on the line, brother, Dr. Salah, can you please give us some words of encouragement to the Syrian people today?
Now, you cannot imagine the amount of dua that has been made in Arafah especially. Every tent I pass by, every person is making dua. I hear the word Syria. Oh Allah, save the blood of our brothers and sisters in Syria. Rescue them from the criminal. And this guy, the criminal of Syria, has gotten an amount of dua. They are asking Allah to destroy him, to eliminate him, to punish him. So inshallah, I believe, inshallah, that will be the end of your misery in Syria. It's a big test. It's a big test. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us that no one can support by Allah. The whole world is sitting there watching Muslims being slain like cattle. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you victory. Once again, brothers and sisters, let's join hands and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these sacred places. Mina is a haram, Malik. And these are beautiful days. Allah ordered us to remember Allah much in it. وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْلُومَاتٍ. Let's join hands and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give victory to our brothers and sisters in Syria. اللهم انصر أهل السنة في سوريا. اللهم انصر أهل السنة في سوريا. اللهم انصر أهل السنة في سوريا. اللهم عليك بجزار سوريا. اللهم انتقم منه. اللهم انتقم منه. اللهم اقسمه. اللهم عليك بالعلويين والنصيريين وسائر الطوائف المارقين. اللهم احصهم عددا وخذهم بددا ولا تبق منهم احدا. اللهم انصر اخواننا في بورما في ميانمار واراكان. اللهم انصرهم وايدهم بنصرك المبين يا رب العالمين. وانصر اخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان في انحاء الدنيا يا رب.
Thank you so much for the beautiful dua. Ameen. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. We have Dr. Ansar from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. Thank you for calling the show.
Hello?
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ansar. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Doctor.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much, brother. My salam to Sheikh Muhammad and Sheikh Yusuf. May Allah bless them for what they are doing.
Ameen.
My question is that, would you please... My question is that, Sheikh Muhammad and for Sheikh Yusuf is that I am from Pakistan, and in Pakistan today is the feast day. what is the ruling that Yom Arafah was, is it not correct that the whole of the Muslim Ummah should be having the Eid on the same day as according to the Yom Arafah?
Absolutely.
We get this
Thank
question.
you.
Doctor, I think Sheikh Yusuf, Dr. Muhammad, we get this question.
I want to hear Sheikh Yusuf's input on that. You know that some countries have a Eid yesterday.
Okay. This also started a long time ago with Ramadan. With Ramadan, there's something about you sight the moon. If you don't sight the moon, then there's a ruling that you go with your imam, and he says we're going to go with the number of days in the month. Also, there's something, though, with astronomy, not astrology, astronomy,
right.
actually sighting stars and saying the time for this, and the moon is there, and you can't see it here. So let's just go by that. And there's two ideas there. They're not exactly the same. Oftentimes they are the same, but sometimes they won't be. Here's the thing. The earth is round. And some people in one place can see it. But as it's shifting and turning, then, I could see it tonight, but you didn't because it got dark over there before it got dark over here. And so that is the real reason behind it. So what happens is that the people think that there's something wrong.
Right.
So then somebody else will throw another monkey in the wrench, what do you call it, monkey wrench, something, in the whole deal, and they'll add another day to it.
Right.
And then you got people really
Not
confused.
only that, politics.
Oh, don't open that door.
A very dirty role
that
in that.
I'm just saying from on the top of it, on the top, before we get underneath. But it is correct that it could be one day in one place and another day in another place because of this. I'm traveling around the world right now on a 40-day journey. I'm going all the way around. The first time I did it completely around. That's what I'm doing. Hajj is in the middle of my trip anyway. So I'm the Ibn Battuta of today. So I'm telling you, this can happen, but it should not happen when it has to do with this, because this is clear. When we're out on Arafat, that's Arafat. Yeah. That's it. It doesn't matter whether you saw a moon, didn't see a moon, saw the sun, didn't see the sun.
Yeah, sure.
Well, if the lights went on, the lights went off. It doesn't matter because we were on Arafat.
Right, sure.
So you should have been fasting that day, breaking your fast the next day, and having your celebration. Because otherwise, that's your politics. That's politics.
Thank you.
I wanna share with you something very interesting and sad. Meanwhile, go ahead, take the phone.
Thank you, Dr. I'm sorry, but Dr. Ali from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ali. Thank you so much for holding. Go right ahead, Doctor.
Wa alaikum salam, all of you, and Hajj Maqbool.
Inshallah. Thank you, Doctor.
You and all the people who have come this year. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
I just
thank
want
you,
to ask you that last year I was in Mina and was posted in one of the hospitals.
Okay.
And in the Yom Arafat, I finished my duty at about 6:30 in the evening. After near about Maghrib time, and then I proceeded. I wore my ihram and proceeded to Arafat and prayed for some time there, and then came to in the night to Muzdalifah, and then stoning the Jamarat. Is the Hajj valid? This keeps on always. I keep on worrying about this.
Okay, Doctor. Inshallah, I'll pass your question to our respected guest, and inshallah, they'll answer you in this episode. So stay tuned. Who would like to take that question? Which one? It's open
If you can
for.
repeat the question, it's pertaining. He's a doctor, and he had to do or violate certain things, such as staying in Mina or Arafat. If you can just recall his question.
Yeah, I believe he was saying he left early. He left early. The day, he didn't attend Mina, or he left early the day of Muzdalifah. Something to that effect.
Let me tell you this: those who are called al-ummal, or the workers, whether the high category staff, doctors and big shots, or the workers who have to serve the hujjaj and the butchers and so on, they've been given a lot of concessions, Sheikh Yusuf. For instance, number one, they are allowed to do the nafr earlier than others. So they may leave for Muzdalifah once midnight is passed. A few minutes later, they can just go. Okay. They can go to throw the stones and do their tawaf and everything even before Fajr. Then they're free the whole day to serve the hujjaj and so on. With regards to their stay in Mina for أيام التشريق فمن تعجل في يومين فلا إثم عليه ومن تأخر فلا إثم عليه. Stay in Mina is wajib, at least more than half of the night. So if the night between sunset and Fajr is 12 hours. The middle is 6 hours.
Okay.
11 hours, then it's 5.5 hours, and so on.
Right.
If you stay half of the night in addition to 30 minutes extra, then you're in a safe side. Yet, al-ummal, the workers, those who are serving the Hujjaj, including the doctors and others, were also given the concession. Even if they don't get to stay in Mina at all because of their job mandates, they don't have to offer a fidya. They're exempt.
SubhanAllah. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. Before I get back to you, Sheikh Yusuf, I'd like to take this call quickly from Sister Asiya from Oman. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Thank you for calling.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing great. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, sister.
Eid Mubarak.
Thank you so much. Eid Mubarak to you as well. Go ahead, sister.
Sheikh Yusuf and Muhammad Salah say Eid Mubarak.
Jazakallah khair. Eid Mubarak, sister. Thank you so much. All the way from the Sultanate of Oman. By the way, I believe Oman is the last Sultanate on earth. Interesting.
All about it.
Sheikh Yusuf,
I'm waiting for them to bring me back again to Oman. I love Oman.
Sheikh, you've traveled extensively. So Oman is a beautiful country, I imagine, and you've been there before?
Yeah.
Of course, Muscat, and then on a tour we went down to where Solomon's old riverbed used to be.
They have the best
mashallah.
fishes, man.
Sheikh Yusuf, going back to Hajj here, what about the moment when you put on the ihram, the pilgrim's clothing, the two simple garments? How does that feel for people who have not performed Umrah or Hajj? How can we explain this feeling? How does it feel to be wearing that, putting that on and wearing that?
For sisters, it's a nice thing because it's nothing different than what they wear every day.
Right.
But for the brothers, you have to take off all your clothes. Yeah, all of your clothes. I mean, yeah, even that.
Right.
And then you got two towels. Now they're big towels, but they're just two towels.
Right.
You wrap the bottom one around there, and then you learn how to kind of roll it so it won't fall down.
Right.
And then you take the top one and you're playing with it the rest of the 3 or 4 or 8 days that you're out here, trying to keep that thing. And by the way, you can't cover your head, so it means you can't pull that thing up and wear it like you normally wear a scarf, something like that. And I would like to do that from the heat and stuff.
Exactly.
They said if it was really dangerous, bad, and something like this, then you could pull it up and cover your head. Otherwise, no. So
that's tough.
Ow.
What about the moment, Dr. Muhammad, when you take your ihram off? I felt like, Sheikh Yusuf as well, a moment of like, I don't want to say joy, but really you feel appreciative of washing with scented soap, applying some fragrances, and regular clothing. You really become
It is
a
very
person.
much the same, similar to fasting.
Yeah.
We
great.
love to fast. We love Ramadan.
Yeah, right. Good.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised that لِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ.
That's a great point.
You know, whenever the true believers, when they say, look, they look at it this way, from two different angles. When it is announced that tomorrow is Eid, they don't hear it as tomorrow is Eid so that they celebrate. They hear that Ramadan is over. So they look at it from this point of view. That's why they cry.
Right.
They feel sorry. But subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entertains the believers by saying, don't feel sad, tomorrow is Eid.
Yeah, subhanallah.
Likewise here, every great ibadah, fasting is crowned with Eid al-Fitr. Hajj is crowned with Eid al-Adha.
Yeah, subhanallah.
So
Great point.
when we take the ihram off, you don't really think about it much because what you're thinking about, happy Eid to everybody, you call your family members and get to celebrate Eid.
SubhanAllah. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. We have Zakaria on the line from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum, sister, and thank you for calling. Zakaria, are you there?
Wa alaikum salam. Ramadan Maqbool. I'm great and especially.
Alhamdulillah, we're doing great, sister. Thank you so much for calling. Please go ahead.
I'm great and especially Sheikh Yusuf stay.
I'm sorry, sister. Could you repeat yourself? I couldn't. Oh, the line cut. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, sister. Give us a call back, please. The line cut. Sheikh Yusuf.
I want to come back to something.
Go ahead.
You were just asking about the ihram, and Sheikh brought up something. And it happened today, just by coincidence, a brother today who was one of the workers out here. And he said, you know, it's sad. I said, what? He said, you know, this is almost over. And he compared just like you did. He said, I just feel like Ramadan when it draws to a close.
Yeah.
He said, I know that today I'm working and I'm beating my brains out and I'm trying to take care of these people. And they're stepping on me, walking on me, calling me names and everything.
Right.
He said, but I know just in a couple more days it'll all be gone.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to miss this.
Yeah.
There
The
is,
service to the people.
There is a very, very interesting fact that maybe many people do not pay attention to, but this is what's happening. So long as you're involved in the manasik, the Hajj rituals, you barely think about the family, the business, the other commitments.
Right.
Because you're moving from one station to another. You go into Medina, visit the Prophet and his grave. Okay, you go to Mecca, you do your Umrah, put on the Ihram, take off the Ihram, prepare for the Ihram for Hajj. Then all of a sudden it's over. Guess what? Everybody wants to stay and live in Mecca. But the moment you finish the Hajj rituals, right away now you start thinking about your family, your wife, your children, and you desire to see them. So it is like some sort of entertainment feeling that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what we call it, the gradual withdrawal technique.
Yeah.
He doesn't take you out of it all of a sudden and you experience the shock. Rather, He will replace this feeling with another one, and so on.
And you call it the gradual withdrawal of what?
The gradual withdrawal technique.
Yeah, great, excellent point. And you feel it too, Sheikh Yusuf. After you come out of the Ihram, you kind of feel not the air coming out of it a little bit, things wrapping up, coming to a close. Sheikh Yusuf, before I ask you about the Jamarat, I should take this phone call from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Thank you for calling.
Yes, wa alaikum salam.
Thank you so much, sister, for calling. Abdul Karim from the KSA. Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, I have two questions actually.
Sure, go ahead.
The first one is, can we wash our hands or our body with the perfumed soap during Ihram?
Okay, can you wash your hands and body with perfume while wearing Ihram? Question number one. Go ahead for number two.
And the second question is for tomorrow, that's the third day from the stoning. What timing can we go for the stoning and also for the final tawaf, the tawaf of the Wada?
Excellent.
What is the earliest timing?
Sure, I got your question. Thank you, sister. As a matter of fact, Sheikh Yusuf, Dr. Muhammad, I went to do the stoning today, and 4 people asked me for this exact same fatwa, and I told them, just because I have a long beard doesn't mean I'm a qualified scholar, you guys. Don't leave your Hajj hanging like this. Don't just ask anybody on the street. This is important information that you have to have a qualified sheikh and call him and ask him. This is important information that we must know. So that was my answer.
Well, I got a question now. Because of her question, I want to ask you, doctor. Listen to this. Hold on a second. Her question is good, but you know what? Today, when we were over at that last place, I washed my hands. Harris came over and he squirted some soap on me. He said, "It's unscented. Don't worry about it." And I went, "Who cares if it's unscented or not?"
Yeah.
I really did.
Right.
And then just now I realized why he said it.
Yeah.
All this time at the other place, I've been using this red soap and
Right,
the thing,
right.
and I always was going, "Oh, that smells nice," but it was
Really?
soap.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking.
Right, slipped your
What
mind.
is that? What does that mean?
Well, one of the restrictions of Ihram or during Ihram is to wear or to use any fragrance or perfume or scented soap, shampoo, body wash, or deodorant, because you're not supposed to smell like you're wearing any perfume or anything like that. Yet
but
Sheikh Ibn
that's
Uthaymeen,
only
may
in the
Allah have
ihram
mercy.
though, right?
No, this is while you are in a condition of Ihram.
But when I took off the towels, I could.
After
When
the
you
first release
undone,
of-
when you undo your ihram, you're in a state of tahallul, you're free to do whatever.
Yeah, great. So
It's called mahzuratul ihram. It's only while you are
Like
in the
right
condition
now,
of
I
ihram. You can do whatever.
do
Clip
my
your
nails.
nails, shave, and that's why you get to shave your hair. Wear your stitched nice top and
Right,
clothes
right,
and so on.
Okay.
But here is a very important information word of mentioning. Sheikh Muhammad al-Salih bin Uthaymeen, may Allah have mercy on him, was asked about using scented soap. He said there is no problem because the person is not wearing perfume or anything like that. But I don't think this does apply to shampoo and body wash because this is literally fragrance.
Sure,
You know,
right.
when you use this, you smell very good.
Yeah, you can smell it.
And you want to link this to the hadith of Arafah, in which the Prophet ﷺ says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yadunu, Allah will draw near to his servants approaching sunset. وَيُبَاهِي بِهِمْ مَلَائِكَتَهُ, and he will boast of them before his angels. And he'll say, look at my servants, أَتَوْنِي شُعْثًا غُبْرًا, they have come to me with the shriveled hair and dusted.
SubhanAllah.
So this condition of being worn out, being tired, being with the shriveled hair, being, I don't want to say dirty, but smell and so on, Allah likes to see this humble condition.
Yeah, SubhanAllah.
Humble condition. That's why it is not allowed to use or wear any fragrance while in ihram.
And thank you, Dr. Mahmoud. Before we get to her second question regarding the Jamarat, I would like to take this call from Brother Nasser from the KSA. Brother Nasser, I'm sorry, brother. It seems like the line cuts, and I kept you on hold too long. We have a call from Nigeria as well. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Amina, I'm sorry the line is cut. I apologize for keeping you on hold so long. Please give me a try back, inshallah. Sheikh Yusuf, the second question was, at what time of the day can I do the stoning? Before Dhuhr, after Dhuhr? I hear this question a lot. Perhaps you gentlemen can elaborate on that as well.
You know what? About the stoning of the Jamarat, you asked exactly the right person because I want to give you the perfect answer. I don't know.
Me too, I don't know.
No, that's the perfect answer. When you don't know, you say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the first year I came, I stepped off on the tower floor as soon as I got there, and something happened in my ankle. It felt like it broke. I had to go immediately to the hospital. They put my leg in a cast. And when that condition wasn't like we have now. I could have made it up here with a wheelchair. In those days, no way.
Yes.
So somebody had to go stone the Jamarat for me. Okay, and my wife was ill, and they stoned it for her. We never knew what Jamarat even looked like until the next time we came. We didn't even know what does it look like because somebody did it for us. And since then, I've heard so many things, this, that, the other. I follow who is the mutaf of our organization, and I go with them. They say, we're going to do it now, I go with them. But I got the man right here on the spot. Ask him.
I'm just going to reiterate what the fuqaha have said. I personally don't have a personal input in that. The vast majority of the Jews are of the view that Al-Rami in the first day, which is the Eid day, for the common Hujjaj begins at sunrise.
Common Hujjaj.
And for those who are having the concession to leave past midnight, begins then. Once they leave, they can throw the stones.
Okay.
But for the rest of the days, Ayyam al-Tashriq, the official beginning time is once the sun moves away from its meridian. Their proof is that the hadith of Jabir ibn Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him and his father, who narrated that the Prophet ﷺ stood there waiting, and he kept asking, Azalat Shams, have the sun moved away yet?
Right.
From the meridian, no, okay, until finally he said yes, then he started throwing the stone.
Okay.
So this is the great indication, this is the time. Okay, now, with the concession that Allah has given us ease and to make things easy for us, those who performed Hajj with the Prophet ﷺ were only 114,000 people, or maximum 120,000.
Imagine that, right.
You say the official statement is 3.2.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it's over 4 million people.
For sure. Yeah, right.
Over one single spot.
Yeah.
It is insufficient. Even though they have the
Beautiful,
bridges and
yeah.
different stories, like 5 stories, mashallah.
Yeah.
But we see hundreds of thousands of people at a time throwing the stones. So many of the contemporary scholars either follow the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa, where the time, they say that the time for throwing, even the Tashriq, is with sunrise or past sunrise, like the Eid day. And some have made it so easy, and they say you can throw even before that. But I'm really very
away from this
skeptical
opinion.
about that.
Thank you, Dr. I certainly appreciate it. We have Brother Nasser.
Can I say something about
Sure.
that? I want to remind everybody that when you go to stone the Jamarat, there is no shaitan over there that's sitting there waiting for you to beat him up with rocks. The pebbles are only pebbles, no bigger than the end of your thumb, and you'll get them wherever you can find them, and you throw them just one by one, Bismillah, like this, and then there's 7, and you're done. Don't think like I have to hit the shaitan right on the head, or, because that's not it. It represents what Abraham did. That's it.
Symbolic. Thank you, Sheikh Yusuf. Thank you, Sheikh Yusuf. We have Brother Nasser on the line from Egypt, I believe. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Go ahead. Brother Nasser, I certainly apologize. The line cut on you again. Please, brother, give us a call back. I certainly appreciate your persistence there. Having said that, the Jamarat is symbolic. It is a special feeling, Dr. Salah. Can you explain this feeling of the Hujjat, the pilgrims, as they are stoning the Jamarat? We know Arafah, we're asking for forgiveness. What are we doing? What are we feeling at this point?
Knowing the story behind every ritual makes it a lot different as you perform in Hajj. Knowing why you have to do sa'i. And at a certain point between 2 green markers, you have to jog. That makes it a lot easier, and it makes it enjoy.
Right, yeah, sure.
Okay. Knowing the story behind the Jamarat, and that when Ibrahim a.s. was inspired in a dream to slaughter his son, and he brought him to the place where he was supposed to do so. This is one of the narrations behind the reasons of the stoning. The shaitan appeared to him right there. Right there. He said to Ibrahim, are you out of your mind? You're going to kill your only son? Do you think that it was an inspiration? That was a nightmare. It was from the shaitan. The shaitan is talking to him. So he recognized that this is from the shaitan. So he picked 7 pebbles. And he threw him with it. He cast him with the 7 pebbles. We know that in Al-Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, min sharri al-waswas al-khannas. Waswas because he constantly whispers. Khannas because he's so weak and vulnerable. Once he mentioned the name of Allah, he dissolves like salt and water. Khanas. So the shaitan khanas. Then once again he tried. So he picked up 7 pebbles and he did it. Khanas. He did it the 3rd time and so on. So the Prophet ﷺ said, Ash-shaytana tarjumun. By following the sunnah of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is now wajib, one of the mandatory activities of Hajj and Hajj rituals, when you throw the stones, as the Sheikh said, shaitan is not being fastened there, hands and feet, because we have seen people in the past, before it used to be like that, the basin was kind of short, people would jump in the basin, take their shoes off and beat the pole. It was one pole.
Right.
And we speak to the pole like there is a shaitan in it. You misled me. You did that to me. You made me disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A shaitan laughs at him because he defeated his purpose. He made him disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right there where he was supposed to be most obedient. So ash-shaytana tarjumun. By throwing the stones properly, as the Sheikh said, the size of the chickpeas, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, it hurts the shaitan. Not because he's there and it physically hits him, it hurts him because we comply.
Right, of course.
And
Obedience.
the tradition of your father Ibrahim that you're following. Okay?
Yeah.
So reflecting on the story of Hajj in general, I believe it's a must. Before coming for Hajj, each and every person should attend a course to learn about Hajj.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, it becomes just some sort of mechanical movements.
Yeah, sure.
You gotta run from here,
Yeah.
run to there. Some people would deceive us, say, hey, if you don't do Tawaful Ifada on that day, Hajj is void. To the extent there is a weak hadith, people made a big deal out of it. If you don't do Tawaful Ifada on the same day, even though you got out of Ihram, automatically you resume your Ihram again. You gotta take your clothes off and stay in Ihram. So Alhamdulillah, Jabir ibn Abdullah narrated to us the entire Hajj story from A to Z. This one single hadith is more than sufficient.
SubhanAllah, thank you so much for your time, Dr.
You know
Muhammad.
what
I
else?
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sheikh Yusuf, thank you. I'm sorry, Sheikh, we have to end the program. We're out of time.
We'll
I
talk
certainly-
after the program. Don't worry
Inshallah.
about it.
I hope to bring you back soon and I hope to see you in Cairo in our studio soon. Thank you for your time, Sheikh
Yes,
Yeah,
Yusuf.
we got
Inshallah.
that coming up. Just a few weeks, I'll be with you in Cairo.
Inshallah, I certainly hope so, Dr. Muhammad. Thank you for your time. And you guys, thank you for watching Huda TV's continued coverage, extended live coverage, that is, of Hajj 1433. That's 2012. Thank you for watching. We're back to you guys in the studio in Cairo. Assalamu alaikum.